Everybody, thank you for joining us again on Sundays with Sheetal. We're slowly building community, and I'm seeing a lot of very positive feedback. Thank you for that. Today, we have somebody who is somebody I know personally, very newly, but she left a really strong impression. Anu, thank you for joining us. I'm really honored. Um, I want you to tell us a little bit about how you got into this space and about your online group that you have. Um, she's also she's a guide. She's a author. She's got this amazing book with these little tarot cards, which I wish you could show us. She's also a consultant with Ananda Spa in Rishikesh. She's just wearing too many hats for me to summarize it. So I'm going to let her speak briefly about her journey to where she is today.
So thank you very much, and it's my pleasure to be here, Sheetal. Yes, नया जानते हैं पर जानने लग गए एक दूसरे को. It's nice. So honestly, if I look at it, I think from childhood I was being prepared for this sharing of spiritual journey. Spiritual journey is ongoing for everybody. See, end of the day, there is a spirit in everybody, and that spirit is on the journey, whether they're aware of it or not, they are on a spiritual journey. So it's become like a fad now to say I'm spiritual, but then who isn't? Some people are conscious about it, and some are not. So since childhood, I have grown up in an environment where there was satsang, and I had a very fast-paced career in advertising. And in fact, last night we had I had a cousin over for dinner who was telling my son about how your mother could really hold her drinks. And I haven't been drinking for almost 15 years now. And he remembers that from 15 years back that I could really hold my drinks. So I have lived that fast-paced life of all the vices you can think of, party till late night, and of course, it's not that I don't party, but I don't need a drink anymore to feel good about myself. And having been in that space where I have seen that you have done substance, and yet something in you is unfulfilled, and so I know that that is not the answer. So somewhere along the line, I had this huge upheaval inside me saying, my life cannot be about just going to work, looking after children. And I sought help from the universe, and the universe showed me an alternative way to be, which is to be more conscious of this, what is happening within you, and take charge of that, in the sense that become more and more aware of it. Charge of that does not mean that you think you are now in control. It's just becoming more and more aware of it. And I used to always paint. Even when the children were young, when they were young, I was painting Hulk for them and drawing tattoos on their arms of gray skulls and all of that sort of stuff. And as my interest started happening in the path of yoga and spirituality, I found myself painting gods and goddesses. It's almost like it was flowing out of me. And I also dabbled in tarot, I used the mythical tarot set, which is Greek gods. And I found within me, why are there no Indian gods here? I mean, we have Greek gods and we have angels. Where are the Indian gods? And a Nagori sadhu that I was learning a lot of stuff from, he said, tum bana do, nahi hai to. Okay. And then when I sat down to think, ruminate on the subject and started painting more, the entire focus shifted from tarot, because tarot is from Kabbalah. It's not an Indian system. So I made it into guidance cards, which are based on Sanatan Dharma, on Vedanta. And I took it a step forward. So that is the book you were talking about, Avid. Yeah.
So maybe we can pull out a card today if you have the book around.
I will pick it up, not a problem. I did keep a book with me on chanting. I didn't keep my book with me because I wasn't thinking from my perspective.
No problem. So today we are talking about know yourself to heal yourself. Yes. Now, when you say know yourself, what are you talking about? Like, I know myself is what I think. मैं ऐसी हूँ, मैं वैसी हूँ, मैं ये करती हूँ, मैं वो करती हूँ. But is that who I am?
Very nice. So you're already on that inquiry. That's beautiful. So very simplistically speaking, we all have these goals in our life. I have to go here. I have to become this. These objectives, which we are brought up thinking that you have to have these life goals, right? If you go into a mall and you decide you want to go into McDonald's or you want to go into Zara, right? And you look at the map, how do you get to either the Zara store or the McDonald's store unless you can find that spot in the map which says you are here? You can't find your path unless you know where you are.
Correct.
When I say know yourself, that is what I mean. Know yourself. I know myself. How much do I know myself? Do I know that I react when somebody says certain things? Do I know that I lose sleep over this so that I can avoid those things? I lose sleep, I get anxious, I pop some pills, I try and do meditation, but all I needed was to remove myself from a certain environment. If I really knew myself, life would become simpler. Then I would know what to do, what not to do, what to indulge in, what not to indulge in. And know yourself to heal yourself, because healing is what? Healing is bringing yourself back into balance. Do I need more activity or do I need more time for relaxation? Do I need more solitude or do I need to be with more people? Unless I know myself, I will not be able to take those actions and therefore not be able to find my unique balance, what centers me, what makes me where I wish to be.
So I read something very interesting when I've been reading up a lot on a lot of things these days. The spiritual consciousness journey.
You have to press demo if you go.
Can I
It was
just
not-
put everybody else, please? The spiritual consciousness journey and search for truth, knowledge, and understanding is also a search for answering the question, who am I? Who are you? Know thyself. What we do as we manifest our consciousness through action and behavior is a part of who we are. So it's not just enough to know. You have to act about what you know or what you discover as you go along.
So
there's knowledge and then there's wisdom in acting on that knowledge.
So there is this very old story about Socrates. So the Oracle of Delphi said that he is the wisest among all. Right? So at first, Socrates said, no, I'm not the wisest. And then he added to it. He says, maybe I am, because I know that I'm not so wise. Right? So that knowingness, when it becomes true knowingness, then then you don't need to think about acting. Then the actions happen spontaneously. So as long as we are having to do something by thinking about it and then doing it, it means it is still not, it is not become a part of our system completely. For example, if there is a fire and you put your hand in it, you will immediately pull it back, right? Nobody has to tell you कि आ गया. एक बार हुआ समझ में आ जाता है क्योंकि वो समझ में आ गया. It has gotten there. Nobody has to tell you remove your hand from the fire. So we were just talking before the session started. We were talking about Sanatan Dharma, right? So Sanatan Dharma has this beautiful concept of deities, and there is this beautiful Laddu Gopal, right? And there are a lot of people who do this Laddu Gopal ki puja karte hain, usko bhog chadhate hain, usko snan karate hain. The idea is, as you keep doing that, it becomes that nurturing nature becomes so much your spontaneous manner that every child starts looking like Laddu Gopal to you. If you are still in that state कि वो छोटी सी मूर्ति को स्नान करा दिया आपने और उसको आपने भोग लगा दिया, पर आपके मेड का बच्चा भूखा रो रहा है और आपके मन में करुणा नहीं आई, तो फिर तो आप समझे ही नहीं. सो वो समझाना नहीं पड़ता कि ये एक्शन करना है, वो अपने आप से स्पॉन्टेनियसली वैसा एक्शन होता है. सो that the awakening means that you awaken to the possibilities of living without having to be told what to do.
Right. Or not even just told by the outsider, reminding yourself it shouldn't be necessary anymore. It should
Yeah, it
become
will
that
not be
ingrained.
necessary because it becomes your spontaneous response. You don't no longer live reactively. You don't no longer live by rules and guides. It's like प्रशासन और अनुशासन का अंतर. प्रशासन बाहर से लागू करना पड़ता है, अनुशासन अपने अंदर से आता है. तुम अपने आप अनुशासित हो जाते हो.
Correct. So this is very interesting for me because all my life I was, we were in a joint family, so we had to do these ritualistic, traditional pujas. We had every god in the world in our puja room, and uske pujas, hazar pujas. So there was a state. There's been a point where I have been very anti idol worship or this ritualistic worship. But for you to tell me this about Laddu Gopal, and I really only follow Krishna and Shiva. I have kind of zeroed in on these two. One is the Kul Devta and one is my Ich Devta, which is my Isht Devta. So this is very interesting for me कि हम लोग ये क्यों करते हैं.
हाँ, because
it's not just ritualistic, blind ritualistic, which we are taught. Nobody tells us the reason we are doing this when we are doing idol worship.
Yeah. So it's like, बचपन में माँ ब्रश करने के लिए insist करती है कि brush your teeth. As you grow up, you realize that you have better oral health because you listened to your mother when you were young. So even वो जो ritualistic ढंग से कुछ कराया गया है, उसका कुछ ना कुछ impact तो रहेगा. And वो कभी ना कभी consciousness में it's like a seed that has already been implanted, and it will germinate at some point and it will be fruitful at some point of time. That is why awareness is important. Like we were just talking a few minutes back with Nandini, right? Nandita, sorry. So mindfulness तो आजकल fad हो गया है. But there may be some people who are meant to live with heartfulness, right? So eventually all heartfulness shall also lead to mindfulness. All mindfulness shall also lead to heartfulness, because balance is when the heart, the head and the hands are in tandem and they are working together. That is when it is a complete life. That is when it is a balanced life. That is when the healing has happened within, because now they are not in conflict. It isn't that heart says something else, head says something else, and the hands are not capable of following those. It's all happening. And that is, when you spoke to me about this session, that is the first thought I had, that people need to understand themselves. They need to understand themselves from the perspective of how does their energy move.
So how do we find out our own energy? What are we?
Yeah. So for example, your childhood, you were part of a ritualistic environment. And that is what the processes that the parents could make you follow, right? Those processes at some point would have led to something of heartfulness developing in you, something of mindfulness developing in you. And it isn't that somebody who's heartful cannot be mindful. It isn't that. So if you look at the yoga, the concept of yoga, there is bhakti yoga, there is Gyan Yoga, there is Karma Yoga, and there is the Raj Yoga. Raj Yoga is the processes that have been put together. Karma Yogis are a lot of people who say, I believe कि मुझे अच्छा काम करना चाहिए, मुझे इन सब चीजों से कोई मतलब नहीं है. The Bhakti Yoga people are the ones who are just surrendered to the divine. So all the Murti Puja that you're talking about, that comes more through the Bhakti Yoga. That, because it's like when you're in love, naya, और जब सगाई होती है तो फियांसे की फोटोग्राफ वॉलेट में होती है ना, वो फोटोग्राफ होने से वो नहीं होता है, तो वो फोटोग्राफ से कनेक्शन लगता है तुमको. दैट इज बिकॉज यूर इन दैट इमोशनल स्पेस, राइट? सो anybody whose energy moves more into emotions should be looking at bhakti yoga, some aspect of bhakti yoga. Anybody whose energy is more intellectual, analytical, why does this happen, how can this be done, their path is the Gyan Yoga path, their path is the Vedanta path, their path is what you were talking about, who am I? That is the inquiry method.
Yeah,
Ramana Maharshi has spoken about a lot, and Robert Adams also speaks on it, right? Then even Nisargadatta Maharaj has talked about it. His book I Am That is all about the Gyan Marg, right?
I'm more inclined towards that, I think, because I questioned everything about idol worship and this ritualistic thing कि ये क्यों हो रहा है, इसको, what is the proof that this works? So I was questioning a lot.
Yeah. So intellectual energy was moving most. So all of us have some element of the intellectual energy movement, some element of the emotional energy movement, which is why the practice, the spiritual practice that we do has to be a combination of all these, bringing all these things together. And that ratio, since it keeps changing within us, our practice also has to keep evolving to keep pace with the way we are altering. Eventually, har bhakt gyani ho jata hai aur har gyani bhakt ho jata hai.
But it's possible to be spiritual without being religious, right?
Okay, what is the basic difference between spirituality and religion? Let's understand this.
Yeah, let us.
There are some people who found that ultimate, right? They found this joy, this state of being where they realized that they don't need anything else, and they could see the pain of people around them and the suffering of those people, like a Gautam Buddha, and he wanted to share with them, right? But you can't explain how it feels. You can explain how it feels, but you can't explain what it is. So what these people did is the steps that they had taken, the meanderings that they had, the processes that they had followed, they put it down in some step form to help people understand how to get there. That became religion, period. So the spiritual practice of each person could be unique because each person is unique. For example, some people ask me, what is your path? I say, Annu is my path, because I have come with these qualities of Annu. And these are the abilities, these are the desires, these are the impulses, and just becoming mindful of these and living heartfully in the best possible way is my path. So I'm not a follower of so-and-so, but so each person has this. Some people, so just like parenting, everybody has a different style. Some people bring up their children in a strict manner. Some people bring them up in a very disciplined manner. Some people give them an open hand. So similarly, with your own spiritual practice, you will find what works for you, whatever takes you towards greater centeredness, greater peace, greater well-being. That is good for you. So religion, it's not something to look down upon. So some people need those strictures. Some people need those processes and those rules and regulations to be able to bring themselves to a certain discipline in their life. And some people are fine exploring by themselves. Just like, with children, we have some children have more musical intelligence. Some children have more analytical intelligence. Some children have more visual intelligence. And then we try and find them those subjects and those courses where they will do well. If they go into a career which uses the skills which they are better at, they will do better at that.
Find the right fit for them.
Right? So similarly in spirituality, for some people, the religious path is the only way it can work, because maybe the conditioning is so strong that perhaps within this lifetime, they are not able to overcome that, or maybe they understand the depth of it way more than others do. And that's all right. So why judge somebody else and say, okay, I am spiritual, I'm not religious? It's okay. If somebody is religious, let them be. It's fine.
No judgment at all. Just wanting to know whether you can be spiritual without being religious and vice versa. So you spoke about the 4 aspects, the mind, the body, the spirit, and the esoteric, and how we need to figure that out for ourselves to know ourselves. So can you talk a little bit more about that and how we can actually zero in on what actually we are, or if you're a mix of everything, and then based on that, you said the modality we would follow would change. Right?
It's a dynamic balancing. It's not a one-time thing. So right now, somebody could be in a state, if they are, it's like when you're in love, and at that time, all the romantic songs appeal to you so much more. And once you have a baby, then you're Chanda hai tu mera suraj hai. Those are the songs that appeal, songs you'd never bothered about before, right? So similarly, in the spiritual also, observe within you, what is it that helps you get more centered. For somebody, it might be doing yogasanas. For somebody, it might be going for a run. For somebody, it might be just listening to an Om chanting. For someone, it might be listening to some other chanting, right? For some people, it might just be a bhajan. For somebody, they have to do something with their hands. कि वो चंदन घिसा और शिवलिंग पे लेप लगाया, उस पे जल चढ़ाया. Those might be the ones that help them feel calmer and feel more peaceful. So this is a constant discovery. It is a constant balancing. It is a constant unfoldment, because there is, as long as one is alive. You remember Richard Bach, one of his books, he asks, have you fulfilled your purpose in life? And he says, if you're still alive, you still have it. Right? So this is a constant unfoldment. If you look at Nisargadatta Maharaj, you see his books in the beginning, the I Am That book, and the books that so those books were not the books they wrote. These were conversations that they would have with people, which have been recorded. But when you see that, you see a difference in the way and the things those people would say over a period of time. Because even though they were enlightened beings, their own understanding is getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And also the person who comes forward asking them the question, they're responding to the energy of that person and what that person wants to hear. So this is a constantly evolving path. There is no, इसमें goal, इसमें कोई destination नहीं है. Journey बस ongoing है ये.
Correct. So you're saying, like, right now, if I'm somebody who will gain more from following the Vedanta because I'm questioning and intellectualizing everything, I might move into a space where I'm getting more into chanting and more into that kind of phase, and then move into maybe something more physical like yoga. And so it's going to be like a journey for me, and whatever works at that time.
Absolutely.
Based on my experiences.
Absolutely. For example, now asanas, right, which is what is popularly known today as yoga, is basically asana and pranayam. It's, if you look at Ashtanga Yoga, yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. So the asan and pranayam is just one very small aspect of it. And even in the Yoga Sutras, I think in the entire Patanjali Yoga Sutras, there are just 2 or 3 on asan, not more than that. But we equate yoga to asan. That is the current understanding. हम लोग उसी को योग समझते हैं कि आसन कर लिया और प्राणायाम कर लिया, मैंने योगा कर लिया. योग तो जीवन है, जीवन शैली है. मोमेंट टू मोमेंट. अब देखो जो यम है, सत्य, अहिंसा, अस्तेय, परिग्रह, ब्रह्मचर्य, the first 5. The beginning of योग is सत्य. और सत्य बोलोगे कैसे, सत्य जियोगे कैसे, अगर उसको जानोगे नहीं, अपने सत्य को नहीं जानोगे तो कहां से. सो सत्य बोल पाने के लिए सत्य पहले मालूम होना चाहिए ना. Then
that's why the importance of know thyself.
Absolutely, that is the beginning.
So that's not the ultimate aim. That's just the first step. Knowing yourself is not
what J. Krishnamurti says. He says the first step is the last step. And it sounds like, so we are so destination oriented, and we're also physical. We think of ourselves as physical beings, and we think of ourselves in time. Therefore, we tend to think of one step as being the first step and something as the last step. But the point is, these steps have to be taken every moment. Every moment, the first step has to be taken. It becomes the last step of that moment. And then there is a fresh moment, which has to be seen afresh again. But this is now we're going into the Gyanmar.
Yeah. Like I told you, that's where I generally lead. So, no, but you know, this is my 6th session, and over the sessions, the underlying, the theme has been mindfulness. And then eventually leading to happiness is where we want to be. We all want to be in that happy space. It's a journey, it's a huge journey, but it begins with ourselves. If we are not happy, we can't make anybody else around us happy. So I think mindfulness has been the underlying theme in everything that we've spoken about, including what you're saying today. So agar apne aap ko, if we are not mindful about each step, each word, each thing that we are doing, there's no scope to move to step number 2.
So actually Vedant mein to one has to go into the state of no mind. Mindfulness nahi hai. Mind se pare jana hai. Kyunki mind bhi, the understanding there is ke अपने आप को शरीर और मन समझने की हम ये भूल कर बैठे हैं कि हम सिर्फ ये शरीर और मन हैं. But we are actually beyond this. Our reality is beyond the body mind. So that is a different domain altogether.
Mm.
What I say is each one of us has to start from where we are. And if I think of myself as a physical entity, then this physical entity has to be in balance. There is a reason why yoga is equated to asana in the current scenario, because most of us think of ourselves as physical beings. Our identity is first about how do I look? Am I fat? Am I thin? Am I healthy? When I say I am healthy, I mean, is the body healthy?
Right.
Because we equate body is equal to I.
Yeah.
Right? So if we have to start from there, somebody who's more in the physical and they are more concerned about the physical health. So my usual this question is, if you have to know if whether somebody is alive or not, what do? You check their pulse, you check if they are breathing. So the two things we do is the person's heart beating or is the person breathing? These are the two things we check, right? Which means there is a great relationship between the heart and the breath, right?
Yes.
So when I actually explored this further, I realized I got to know about this thing called the vagal tone that the body has. So what happens is when we breathe, when we inhale, our heartbeat is different. When we exhale, our heartbeat is different. When we exhale, it slows down. When we inhale, it hastens up. And this difference in the heartbeat in inhalation and exhalation is called the vagal tone. And it is
called the what?
Vagal tone.
Vagal tone. Okay.
Yeah. And this is actually a very good yardstick for heart health.
Okay.
So somebody who's getting somebody's heart checked, their vagal tone will be checked. Because if you have a high vagal tone, which means that your body has the ability to come to rest. That is what a high vagal tone means. So the high vagal tone is good, right? So now our ancient masters understood this, which is why there was so much emphasis on pranayam. Pranayam is such an important aspect of our health. But within that, within pranayam also, there are some pranayam which will hasten, which will increase your vitality, and there are some that will calm you down. So do you need greater vitality or do you need greater peace? So depending on that, you have to do pranayam, which is why it was always said that pranayam किसी समझदार टीचर्स के साथ करना चाहिए, अपने आप से नहीं करना चाहिए. हम लोगों ने टीवी देख के बाबा रामदेव को देख के प्राणायाम करते करते बहुत लोगों ने अपनी हेल्थ खराब भी कर ली. बहुतों की इंप्रूव हुई पर बहुतों की खराब भी हो गई, because we were using it as like over the counter drugs, right? So I'm saying even just in the physical, even if you think of yourself as the physical body, even there, unless you know yourself, how will you heal yourself? Should you do a rapid pranayam or should you do a pranayam that slows you down? That depends on only if you know yourself. That's why I've said you have to know yourself to heal yourself, not just at the mind level, not just at the esoteric level, not just at the energy level, but even at the bare physical level. Unless you know yourself, how will you move forward into a space of greater well-being?
So to understand ourselves completely, first step is to accept ourselves as who we are.
Yes.
Right? And all of us have some darkness in us. There's nobody born without some dark side to them, some flaws. It's very difficult to accept that about you. It's so easy to say, yeah, I get angry very fast, but that's just superficial acceptance. What I mean is like an internal deep acceptance of your dark sides and I think that would be the toughest part to do when you're delving in.
Lovely, lovely. So Ashtanga Yoga, remember first yam I said Satya, second is Ahimsa, right? और हिंसा तो अपने साथ भी नहीं करनी है. और जब हम अपने आप को जज करते हैं, you know, all of us have some dark side. There is judgment in that. That is you. What is dark? What is not dark? That is you. I mean, every meal, the chilies have a role, no? The bitters have a role, no?
True.
Right? So it's about finding that if I am the kind of person, so I've been in media and advertising, I told you. So I had this particular woman who was in my team who was very aggressive, and she had joined in the PR team. And I remember telling my boss, I said, why have you taken her in PR? वो तो कनपट्टी पे बंदूक मार के काम करवाने वाली है, उसको प्रोसेसेस में कहीं पे उस तरफ डालो भैया, PR नहीं कर पाएगी ये, right? So everything has a role, everything has a place. So there is nothing good or bad. चिली होना, कोई मिर्ची है, कोई तीखा है, तो उसमें कुछ खराब थोड़ी ना है, वो कोई डार्क थोड़ी ना है, वो उसका रोल है. अगर सही जगह पे डाला जाएगा उसको, तो that person will add to the flavor of the dish. We know in work, in corporate teams work, no? Some person brings a certain attribute, some person brings another attribute.
That's a huge part of corporate HR actually. It's called human engineering,
Yes.
where you find the right role for the right person.
Yes.
So otherwise it's bad for the company and bad for the person, because that person will not feel justified in their role at all. So it's called human engineering, which is very, very valid.
So every trait which is in us also has a role. It has a purpose. There is this beautiful story about Lord Parshuram's father. So he was a very ill-tempered man. बहुत गुस्सा आता था उनको, और उनको जब गुस्सा आता था वो अपनी पत्नी के ऊपर कुछ चिल्ला चिल्लू के उनको कुछ हार्म कर देते हैं. परशुराम used to feel very hurt कि मेरी माँ को इतना दुख देते हैं मेरे पिता. So one day Parshuram did something which was very nice, and the father was very happy with him, and he said कि मैं तुमको I want to give you a boon, so ask. So he says, if I have to ask for something, na पिताजी आप अपना क्रोध त्याग दीजिए. So पिताजी says, okay. So look at how पिताजी क्रोध को कैसे त्यागते हैं. पिताजी कहते हैं, क्रोध की देवी आप मुझे छोड़ के चली जाइए. क्रोध की भी देवी हैं, क्रोध की देवी आप मुझे छोड़ के चली जाइए. तो क्रोध की देवी कहती है, पुत्र तुम्हारा बहुत मुश्किल समय आने वाला है, तुमको मेरी जरूरत पड़ने वाली है, इस वक्त मेरा त्याग मत करो. And he says, नहीं, मैंने अपने पुत्र को वचन दे दिया, आप चले जाइए. So she leaves. Then he's sitting in the ashram, and the story is that the sons of the king are very rowdy lot, and they come and disturb the ascetic when he's sitting in his tapasya, and वो आके छेड़ते हैं उनको. तो ये क्रोध की देवी कहती है, पुत्र मुझे वापस ले लो, इस वक्त तुम्हें मेरी जरूरत है. Because he doesn't react, he doesn't have anger in him anymore. And because he doesn't have anger in him anymore, these people who are rowdy, they keep poking him, and they keep getting, उनकी भी हिम्मत बढ़ जाती है, and they actually hurt him, and the man dies. And after that, when Parshuram comes back and he sees that his father has been hurt, that is when he decides कि सारे क्षत्रियों को वो मार देंगे. And that is when he starts. So the point is that everything serves a purpose. So if I get angry very quickly, let me find out if it is serving a purpose, and let me find out कि मैंने कहीं मिर्ची ज्यादा तो नहीं डाल रही हूँ. वो acceptance में भी temperance आएगी ना. बिना acceptance के लिए कैसे temperance आएगी?
There's a time for gussa and not. You need to figure out if your triggers are the right triggers or not, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
So the process of finding, so there might be, it may be that it has gone beyond. So if you look at a ECG, right, it goes like this. ऐसे जाता है ना? As long as it is in a range, it's healthy. Because अगर ऐसे ऊपर नीचे नहीं जाएगा, straight हो जाएगा, तो उसको flatlining कहते हैं.
Correct.
Right? So there has to be, if you're alive, then human emotions are, emotion is what? Energy in motion. Anger is what? Anger is an energy. Everything is energy, right? So if it is directed in the right manner, at the right place, it can produce results which nothing else can.
Right.
So if we don't get into being judgmental and saying ये गलत है और ये सही है, and find out that हर चीज की एक जगह होती है, हर जगह के लिए एक चीज होती है, and that is when we get, that is what mindfulness is about. This is mindfulness in life. कि यहाँ पे गुस्से की जरूरत है कि नहीं है, और यहाँ पे गुस्से की जरूरत है, मुझे गुस्सा करना चाहिए, कब रुक जाना चाहिए. If you've noticed, if you realize that you're angry, you're not angry anymore, because now you're in awareness.
Yeah.
You can't do two things. You can't be angry and aware.
True.
तो awareness में अपने आप anger खत्म हो जाता है, अगर वो सच में anger था.
So that's why you count up to 10.
Yes. Or you drink water, or you go and wash your face. And then yet, so energy brought something to our attention. And if we can find our centeredness at that point, it will take us into the action, which will not be action that is coming from thought, but which will be the spontaneous action that we were talking about some time back.
So when you started off, you spoke about getting out of an environment that is toxic for you or that is triggering the wrong things in you. But a lot of times you can't do that. A lot of times your triggers are around you and you can't move out of that space, right? A lot of people, I know, I mean, a lot of people are in joint families, in family situations, whatever the situation is. You can't leave and just walk out and get out of that environment.
True.
So when you mean environment, you're talking about which environment? Physical environment?
You have to alter your inner environment to not be reactive. So गर्म पानी और ठंडा पानी को मिलाओगे तो गर्म ठंडा हो जाएगा, ठंडा गर्म हो जाएगा. अगर आप ऐसे एनवायरनमेंट में है जहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा किटकिट है और बहुत ज्यादा हाइपरनेस है, आप अगर अपने आप को शांत करते जाओगे और आपकी शांति सच में डीपन होती जाएगी, तो वो उस एनवायरनमेंट को भी बदलने लग जाएगी. और अगर वो एनवायरनमेंट इस काबिल नहीं होगा कि उसको बदला जाए, बिकॉज सबकी अपनी जर्नी है, राइट? सबका अपना कार्मिक वो है, बट एटलीस्ट यू विल stop being as affected as you were earlier, or maybe just be removed from the circumstances in a different manner.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to get at, that a lot of these things when we hear change your environment, it's not the physical environment around you. It's the internal environment inside you that needs to change. Because the minute you change, the reactions around you, the environment around you has to change. It's like a ripple effect.
Yeah, it's a symbiotic relationship. The physical also does help. So, for example, putting lavender oil, right? Or burning tej patta in the house, or putting an agarbatti, or playing the Gayatri mantra, playing the Shanti part. These things will also have an effect.
Correct.
Right? So you have, so it's like, अगर बीमार हो तो अभी पैंडेमिक में हुआ ना, काढ़ा भी पी रहे हैं, प्राणायाम भी कर रहे हैं और विटामिन सी भी खा रहे हैं, तो we did not get selective saying नहीं मैं तो सिर्फ आयुर्वेद लूंगी, मैं विटामिन सी नहीं लूंगी. We didn't do that, no? Right? So when you really care about something, तो फिर उसको हर तरफ से एड्रेस करते हैं ना, हर लेवल पे एड्रेस करते हैं. तो अपने आप को जिस चीज में सबसे ज्यादा सक्षम पाए करने के लिए उसको करें.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of people say change your environment. तो job quit कर लो, घर छोड़ दो. All these are external. वही बोल रही मैं. It has to come from within. The changes have to start from inside. ये superficial, you know, adding lavender and all are add-ons definitely. But I'm saying the environment that needs to change is internal.
Yeah, so that internal environment to change can do with some help.
Yes,
so
that's what I mean.
Pranayam. So that's what we said, that support each others.
Yes.
Right? And but again, there has to be awareness about it कि कई बार amputate करना भी पड़ता है ना, अगर वो जहर अंदर फैलता जा रहा है.
Yeah.
So that judgment also has to be used. So one can't just give a blanket statement saying कि नहीं सिर्फ अपने को बदलना है. कई बार काटना पड़ता है, अलग करना पड़ता है.
Correct. But again, that will come with knowing.
It has to come from awareness. It has to come from knowing. Yes.
Yeah. So you were talking also when we were speaking about nobody is in isolation. Everybody needs a support system.
Yes.
I think that was a really lovely statement to make, because especially in these times we're so isolated in the sense that we are living in little bubbles of our own, but within those bubbles we can still be really supportive of each other in the homes, which we are doing. I think this is the right time for these kind of conversations, because we've had a year and a half to actually tune out the noise to a large extent for a lot of people.
Yeah, so the way I look at it, it's like this entire concept of no, I'm independent, I'm self-made. I think it's a myth. एक फुल्का जो हम खाते हैं, okay, किसी चक्की में वो आटा पिसा, किसी खेत में वो गेहूं उगा, किसी मजदूर ने उठा के वो गेहूं की बोरी चक्की तक लेके गया था. I mean, how many hands it goes through before it comes to me, right? So we are all interdependent. This entire, of course, if you look at Ramana Maharishi, And there's a beautiful statement he says, there is no other. Because we think of ourselves as these physical body, minds, entities, therefore we think this is Anu and that is Sheetal. And that is Nandita, and I can see that is Jyotika, and there is Vandana, and there's Anita, right? So, but at the very real level, we are all the same. And जब उसका एहसास अपने अंदर से होने लग जाता है ना, तो फिर कोई दूसरा होता ही नहीं है. तो फिर समझ में आता कि ये सब क्या, कि ये मैं हूँ, ये मेरी जर्नी है. I remember many years back, my maid, I saw her sniffing and पोछे की बाल्टी में हाथ डाल रही थी and वो कर रही थी. So I told her, this must be 16 years back. So I asked her, I said कि तबीयत ठीक नहीं है तो तू आज काम पे क्यों आई है, जुकाम हो रहा है तुझे तो. She said, दीदी एक आप ही हो जो कहते हो कि तबीयत ठीक नहीं है तो काम पे क्यों आई है, बाकी सब बोलते मेरे घर का काम करके जाना. So I said, fine, no judgment, because end of the day I had a full-time person also, so I could behave like that with a preference. You know, I could afford to be kind to a part-timer. But the women who don't have a full-time person and are overworked, they need somebody. So I said, ठीक है, okay, I understand. तुम कम से कम यहाँ पे पानी में हाथ डालने वाला काम मत करो, कम से कम don't add to it. But there's a part of me which was still thinking about it. This is not right. You know, we need to be able to look after the people who work for us and not just think कि मुझे problem होगी तो मुझे उसका ख्याल नहीं रखना चाहिए. And a few months later, swine flu happened. And then swine flu happened, किसी के घर में कोई मेड छींक मारती थी, वो उसको छुट्टी दे देते थे. जब अपने पे आई, so why does life have to find these kind of things? Because we lack empathy, because we are not able to treat people at par the way we treat ourselves or who we think is our family and who we think are our children. Because we don't, then life puts us in situations where we understand how interdependent we are and we are forced to behave correctly and address our behavioral patterns. And I think the pandemic has been a huge eye-opener that way. People have actually recognized how much their life, their sense of well-being is dependent on the well-being around them, because nobody lives in a bubble.
Correct. Absolutely. We have Richa saying that thanks for sharing. There's so much clarity in what you're saying. Bia is saying a certain amount of gussa is required sometimes with certain people. Very true. Very true.
I totally agree. Just because I'm coming and saying these things doesn't mean कि मेरे को कोई कभी चिल्लाते हुए नहीं सुनेगा.
Correct. So it's been a fascinating talk. So now tell me, knowing yourself is healing yourself, and healing yourself and knowing yourself leads to happiness, right? Because so, that's our ultimate.
That could be your ultimate. Somebody might be wanting peace. Somebody might, you know, somebody might say what I seek is to be peaceful.
Happiness कहाँ हो सकता है?
Okay, so
like for me,
the point is, happiness is actually our true nature, which is why we go seeking happiness. क्योंकि वो हमारे, so there's this beautiful example of a child who is in a mela, right? मम्मी का हाथ पकड़ के मेले में घूम रहा है और बहुत सारे वो राइड्स हैं और लाइट्स हैं और बुड्ढे के बाल बिक रहे हैं and मदारी अपना वो दिखा रहा है, right? And the child is enjoying himself, very happy. अभी उसका हाथ छूट जाता है मम्मी के हाथ से, वो रोने लग जाता है. अभी भी वो मदारी भी है, वो झूले भी हैं, वो लाइट्स भी हैं, वो खिलौने भी हैं, पर अब वो नहीं है खुश, राइट? तो वो उसकी खुशी कहाँ से थी? उन चीजों से थी कि वो माँ के हाथ जो उसके हाथ में था उस सिक्योरिटी से थी, राइट? सो आर वी सीकिंग हैप्पीनेस? आर वी सीकिंग सिक्योरिटी? आर वी सीकिंग पीस? सो इफ यू लुक एट वेदांत अगेन, सो देयर आर दिस 4 पुरुषार्थ हैं ह्यूमन लाइफ के, राइट? धर्म, अर्थ, काम, मोक्ष. अर्थ इज फ्रीडम फ्रॉम insecurity. Why do we collect resources? Because अभी हमेशा तो हम लोग सांस आराम से लेते थे, जब ऑक्सीजन की कमी पड़ने लग गई तब ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर्स होर्ड किए, क्योंकि इनसिक्योरिटी हो गई ना कि पता नहीं मिलेगा कि नहीं. तो सारी रिसोर्सेज का होर्डिंग इसीलिए होता है ना कि एक्सेस शायद ना मिले. So that is insecurity, no? So all earth collecting resources happens because of one wants freedom from insecurity. Then there is calm. Calm is because you have this experience of having had sorrow sometime, of having experienced pain sometime. You think if you are constantly in the pursuit of pleasure and gaining pleasure, you will not be sorrowful, you will not be in pain. So the pursuit of calm is freedom from suffering. Right? Dharma is, again, dharma most people think means religion. It does not. Dharma is the universal ethics, so to say. For example, अगर एक चोर है, एक चोर भी नहीं चाहेगा कि उसकी कोई चोरी कर ले, इसीलिए चोरी करना गलत.
Correct.
Right? So that it comes, it doesn't, that moral stricture does not come from a conditioning, but it comes from an internal, internal acceptance of how we really are. Right? So we don't want कि हमारी कोई चोरी करे, हम नहीं चाहते कि हमारी कोई बुराई करे, इसीलिए किसी और की बुराई नहीं करनी चाहिए, इसीलिए चोरी नहीं करनी चाहिए. So that is धर्म. अगर धर्म नहीं होगा तो फिर सोसाइटी, जो अर्थ और काम में जो इंडल्जेंस है, वो अगर there are no rules and regulations, फिर सोसाइटी कैसे डेवलप होगी. Right? So dharma, earth, काम, these are the three. Moksha is the final, that understanding that freedom itself is my real nature. And that freedom I can get only if I truly know who I am. As long as I think I am just this body mind, I will be caught in these body mind issues and I will keep on. So there's not that there's anything wrong with it, but if I have to know truly the freedom that is my nature, truly the happiness that is my nature, I have to know who I am, which is the entire understanding of Vedanta in terms of the Mahavakyas that we have. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, or even the Gayatri Mantra. It's basically a Mahavakya, it's an understanding. Right? So Richa says, key is to balance among all the 4 pillars of Vedas. Yeah. We must be aware. Yeah, so at the elementary level, if the deeper that we go, for example, if you have, आज की तारीख में अगर किसी को बार-बार खुंसी हो रही है और वो हील नहीं हो रही है, तो immediately उसका शुगर का टेस्ट कराते हैं ना, because you know that after some time that this is something that is happening on the surface, the cause lies within. Right? So similarly in our life, if there is anger which is not being controlled, then anger could just be a very deep-rooted grief that one has not addressed. And that is why you need to know yourself. Where is this anger coming from? Is it, are the people outside triggering it? I think they are triggers, but maybe it is actually, there is unacknowledged feelings and emotions inside, or grief inside, which has not gotten expression, and therefore it is getting expressed as anger.
True. Vandana is here on with us, your friend Vandana.
Oh, hello.
She says,
Hi, hello, sorry. It's wonderful, but I got to step off for my class, which is at 5 on Sundays. And I'm glad, Sheetal, you brought it up to 4:15 instead of 4:30. So I could at least attend 45 minutes. But great to see you, Anu, and hear you. And thank
Good
you,
to
Sheetal.
see you, Vinny.
Thanks so
I mean, I
much.
don't see you, but yes, you're there.
Okay, you can. I'm there, but I'm right here.
Oh, lovely, lovely to see you.
Ditto. Take care.
Thanks, Vandana. Thank
you. Thanks, Sheetal. Bye, guys.
Bye. Nandita says, we must have awareness of what needs to be healed.
So that's the beauty, is that in awareness, healing happens. Like I said, if you're angry, if you become aware, the anger dissolves. The entire Vipassana is what? You just keep getting aware of the sensations on your body from head to toe. And in that awareness, the body starts healing.
I haven't mastered the guts yet to do a Vipassana. I'm such a people person. I don't know how I'm going to survive 9 days with no communication.
It is beautiful.
Maybe I should try.
Communicating with yourself. It is beautiful.
Maybe I'll do it for a couple of days first and then see how it goes.
I don't think you can do for less than 10 days the first time.
What?
You have to do 10 days.
Someday.
It's okay. So move at your pace, do the things that you resonate with. Everything takes, even if you go to the gym and you start working on the body and developing your muscles, it takes time, no? Right? So instead of having a goal saying, I want to do that, wherever I am, if I can start just becoming aware and mindful of, I wouldn't even say mindful, I would say just become aware. That awareness itself leads to something deeper. Yeah, Richa says, learn to process what's causing the pain and anger. It's so amazing. Yes. In fact, the entire understanding of Vipassana is that every sensation in the body actually is a response to some stimuli that we have had, right? And in becoming aware of those sensations, we are dissolving those and leaving those experiences behind.
Yeah.
The entire NLP technique also works on this, the neuro-linguistic programming, the entire understanding works on this only, that everything creates a physical sensation. And if you can use those and use that understanding, you can wire your neurons differently and have different outcomes.
Yeah. Lovely. I'm definitely going to have you in for a session 2 at some point. You're like a bhandar of knowledge, as I was telling Nandita initially. We were also, I think we can very briefly, before we do our Om meditation, we were discussing about colors. And
Yes.
I in my head, I could imagine you either in white, pink or orange today. So I said, मैं दोनों color का मिश्रण पहन लेती हूँ. But you said you make it very easy by going by colors of the day.
Yes.
By that, I didn't know about that.
So because each day belongs to a planet in astrology, and according to that, so each day has a color associated with it. So in the work sphere, every morning to get up and decide आज मैं क्या पहन के जाऊंगी, it just became very simplified. If I had colors organized for the week, इस दिन का ये रंग, इस दिन का ये रंग. So instead of having to choose between 10 saris, I had to choose only between 2. कि ये पहनूं, कि ये पहनूं. Right? So, but color is again a beautiful, the entire subject is so vast because our etheric body, the pranmaya kosh, is made of colors.
The what?
The pranmaya kosh. Okay. you had a pranic healing session also, right? So that is the pranmaya kosh, in which the chakras and the vayus exist.
Okay.
So we have these, so this body, physical body, is the annamaya kosh. See, everything in the world, if you notice, in existence, is in layers. You take the cross section of a tree, it's got layers.
Yeah.
You see our physical body, it's got layers. We have the bone, the skeletal system, then we have the ligaments and the muscle, then we have adipose tissue, then we have skin, but we don't end here, we continue. So we have what people call the aura, right? So that is the next kosh. So this is the annamaya kosh. Anna, this is the one where we eat anna, right? Annamaya kosh. Then there is pranmaya kosh. Then there is manomaya kosh. Then there is vijnanmaya kosh, and there is anandamaya kosh. So we exist in multiple layers
simultaneously.
Yes. And colors have a huge, the pranmaya kosh is all comprised of colors. So just like the chakras, they have a certain color. They have a spectrum of colors within which each chakra is, which means it's healthy, it's strong, it's large, it's small, it's depleted. So how do the clairvoyants get to know about it? Because they can see those colors, right? So what I have found is that the ancient scriptures, the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Purans, the various systems given, Ayurveda, all the systems given by our ancient Sanatan Dharma, ancient civilization are so powerful that now even if I don't know exactly the scientific method, I am sure I will stumble upon it someday, and it is worthwhile to kind of pursue it if it does not if it is not counterproductive to the basic human values that I hold.
Correct.
Right?
Makes
So, which is why then I moved into the colors. So for Mondays, I wear either whites or blues, because Monday is Chandrama, so that is white. And it is also the day of Lord Shiva's, which is blue. So I wear either whites or blues. Tuesday is Mangal and Hanuman, so either wear reds or oranges. Then Wednesday is Mercury, so I wear greens. Thursday is Guruvar is your Jupiter, Brahaspati, and also the Guru, Sai Baba, right? So yellows. Then Friday is Shukra, which is again white, but also Mata Rani, right? So I wear my pinks and magentas on Fridays. So either the whites or the pinks and magentas. Saturday is Shani Dev, so blue and black. And Sunday is some dark bright shade. So my maroons and those come out on Sundays. Surya.
Ah. So that makes it so much easier for me also now to plan my things like that. It really minimizes your multiple options that you otherwise clutter your brain with.
Yes. So I started using it because of that. Oh, this is so much simpler. And later I found, that end of the day, if you look at the entire healing that happens with the crystals and stuff, it's all based on colors.
Yeah.
Pranic heal is again based on colors. So who knows, maybe at some level that is contributing to my well-being. So
it's not doing any harm, so why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So you wanted us to end with Om meditation. Tell us
that. So we were saying that people should be able to go with a takeaway, right? So one of the things the thought that I would like to leave people with is, see, asan, pranayam, और भी कुछ भी है वो खुद करना पड़ता है. मंत्र एक ऐसी चीज है कि अगर आप सुन भी लेना तो वो आप पे असर कर रही है. So if you could just find the chant that you resonate with the most, even if you're not currently up to learning to chant it yourself and chanting it yourself, at least if you start listening to that, it is going to make a difference in your lives. So I would urge people to find the chant that they resonate with. For example, what do I mean find the chant that they resonate with? For example, just Lord Shiva, okay? So there is one which is the Panchakshari Om Namah Shivaya mantra, right? Uske alawa, there is one which is Shiva Tandav Stotram, which is Ravan Kakrit. Now that has the energy of Jatatavi, Galajwala, Pravahapa, Vittasthale, Gale Valam Vilambitam, Bhujangatunga, right? So somebody could resonate with that. Same Lord Shiva ke liye, there's also Nirvan Chatakam, which is a very soft energy. Mano Buddhyankar Chittaninaham Nacha Shrotra Jive Nacha Grani Netre. So this is one, this you would have heard Shivoham, Shivoham.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham. So if you resonate with this, if you could just chant Shivoham, Shivoham, that itself could become the inflection point in your journey, right? So which is what I mean, if you understand yourself and see what your energy responds to, what makes you feel more centered, what makes you feel better, and just do that. That itself will, because then what happens is, what we don't realize is that life is looking after all of us. The right books, the right means, the right people, they will all start coming into our life. They will start manifesting. We will start getting the guidance that we need to move forward. But that first step to want to create that transformation, we will have to do that ourselves, because shuruaat to karni padegi.
Correct. So I was just thinking, for me, it's that Achyutam Keshavam.
Oh, so beautiful.
It puts me in
Achyutam
such a calm peace of mind, I can't tell you.
Udaram Ram Narayanam Janaki Vallabham कौन कहते हैं भगवान आते नहीं. It's beautiful and it's very well sung. So that is your energy is that way, you know, that is the one that appeals to you.
I listen to that.
Very nice, beautiful. वो खाना होता है ना, कई बार बोलते, कोई बोलता है अरे बहुत ज्यादा नमक हो गया, और कोई और कहते हैं नमक दो यार, इसमें नमक बहुत कम है. You know, so everybody has different preference for everything.
Yeah.
Why? So in the spiritual path also, why would the same path or the same thing work for everybody? It can't. And that's all right.
So this is a fabulous recap from last week also. Vaibhav had told us, like, just play the chants in the house, put some incense, put some diffusers. These all make a lot of difference. And you're just reiterating the same for us, which is amazing. So
for me, desi ghee mein jeera or hing ka chhonk is the one that uplifts my heart. So it does not have to be just lavender, okay? For example, for me, rose fragrance repulses me.
Yeah.
Desi gulab, it repulses me. So I was like, how does this happen? So then I discussed it more with people who understood, and you know, so every chakra has fragrance as an energy, and every chakra will respond to the energy of that fragrance, right? So gulab is the anahat ki fragrance, the heart chakra. तो मेरा तो वैसे ही बहुत बड़ा हुआ पड़ा है, तो तुम मुझे गुलाब सुंघाओगे तो मुझे तो, you know, excess हो जाता है. तो say, why do I get repulsed by it? मुझे जरूरत नहीं है. You understand?
Correct. A lot of compliments for your singing right now. Maybe we should have one where you're just singing.
How sweet. Thank you so much. My younger son disagrees. Huh?
Your younger son is spoiled because he's on another level of music. So it's Jyotika says you're such a knowledge repository, and thanks for sharing.
It's been my pleasure entirely.
Guys, please. Jyotika says, not me. I love your voice.
Thank you,
Jyotika. Any questions, guys? Please put it into your chat or comments section. So what do you want to end with, Anu?
So Om chanting is one of the most powerful chants there is. And there was recently a video by the doctor who passed away in COVID, who was giving a lot of, Dr. K.K. Agarwal, I think, who was giving a lot of very valuable inputs. So he talked about there's research ongoing about Om, and he explained it very beautifully. He said, the vowels A, E, I, O, U, they actually release a painkiller in the body. And I think it's interleukin, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember I had attended Tibetan harmonic chanting by David Hikes many years back, and he used to chant only A, E, I, O, U. So just sitting and listening to A, E, I, O, U chant would take you into deep meditation.
Wow.
That's how powerful it is. Just sitting and saying A, E, I, O, U.
Whoa.
Right? Because they release painkillers in the body.
Wow.
And sorry, the nasal consonants. So like when you cry, that's how you cry, no? Those release tranquilizers in the body.
Oh.
And Om is a combination of
both
vowel and the nasal consonant.
Yeah. Wow, that's another level of Om that yeah.
So Nandita asks, what ignited the spiritual fire in you? सबके अंदर है, उसको अपने आप थोड़ा पंखा झलो, ऐसे प्रज्वलित होएगी सबके अंदर की, सबके अंदर है. Spiritual सब हैं. Right? So Om chanting, very powerful. Another thing I can, creativity. That again is very powerful to get you into a better state of well-being, because the chakra, the Shuddhi chakra, That is the chakra that looks after creativity. When you pursue your creativity, you're basically pulling the energy to the higher chakras. So when you pull the energy to the higher chakras, the lower chakras will also get their nutrition. They will get their due, and the blockages will open up. So, which is why, if you remember, initially, the first lockdown, a lot of people had started sharing painting and photography, and they were feeling so good. Imagine, इतना fear psychosis था दुनिया में उस वक्त, नया disease था, लोग मर रहे थे, household help नहीं आ रही थी, पर जो लोग paint कर रहे थे वो खुश थे. क्यों ऐसा हुआ था?
Baking became such a big thing.
Right? Because creativity.
Breads were being made in a.
तुम लोगों ने सिटी फ्लो वालों ने कितना सुंदर म्यूरल किया है, कितने सारे सच, कितने लोगों की क्रिएटिविटी निकल के आई है. So how satisfying that would have been.
Yeah.
Right? So
We remember Ritu Rasya during that time.
Yes.
Yeah, मेरी creativity पूरी उसमें.
So these are things. So chanting सुन के भी फायदा होता है, इसी तरह आर्ट से एक्सपोजर से फायदा होता है, नहीं भी करो देख के भी फायदा होता है, because your heart is welling up. So whatever basically lets your higher chakras pull greater energy is going to help you.
Super. So let's do one quick one. We have like 7 minutes left.
Okay. So everybody sit with your backs straight and but relaxed. Now this seems like, how is that possible? Contradictory? It's not contradictory. It's like, think about a coat that has been hung on a hook. It's straight, but it's limp, right? So just
nicely put. How nicely put. I'm going to feel like a coat now.
Become a coat on a hook. Straight but relaxed. And eyes, gently close your eyes. Follow my voice. Just feel where in the body you feel any sensation as I'm chanting Om. Inhale deeply and exhale. Make your exhalation long. If you're unable to make your exhalation long by breathing out of your nose, breathe out through the mouth. But just make your exhalation longer. And as you inhale, feel a peace settling into you. And as you exhale, feel all anxiety leaving you. Anxiety is leaving the body. Anger is leaving. Discomfort is leaving. Pain is also leaving. Inhale deeply and exhale. Long exhalation. Oh. Now think about the person you love most. Person, mother, partner, child, pet, friend, guru, Ishtadev, whoever, who makes you feel good inside. Feel calm and relaxed. Feel loved. Just think about the person and feel a smile coming to you as you think about this person. Smile. Smile with your heart. Oh. Take your attention to your chest area. And as you continue to think about this person, feel a warm light, a little glowing light in your chest area. And this love that you feel, smile that you have within you, see this light is beginning to grow and glow. Just observe it glowing and growing inside you. Oh. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Just allow this light to envelop you, just expand within you. It's growing out of your body, just filling up the room, filling up wherever your thought can go. The entire home just getting expansive. It's just this light of love. This peaceful, loving, secure light of love. Just let go in that. And whenever you feel like it, before you open your eyes, rub your palms gently and place them on your shut eyes, cupping your eyes. Blink within your palms a couple of times and then remove them from your eyes. And just stay in this happy, fuzzy, loving feeling. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Gratitude, Anu. Thank you so much. We've
Gratitude
got
to all
some
of
really
you.
nice feedback. Amazing bhandar of information and knowledge you are, Anuji. Very interesting session. Explored many unknown territories. Wow, this home experience has made me feel so light, loving it. Wow, lovely. I'm so glad.
I'm
So
glad to.
thank you, Anu. I'm definitely going to have you back because you have so many aspects to touch on, and I'm hoping this session picks up a little more momentum and more people gain from it, because I think knowledge is the base of every transformation. So the more we learn, the better for us. And we don't know which part of what you say can be employed by each one of us differently to begin that transformation. So like I always say, it's little baby steps towards using life hacks that we are learning from people like you to make transformational changes within us. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for being with us. Until next Sunday.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.